Hey, and we're back again. Good evening, folks. Archie, first to join, shout out to you. Meredith is here all the way from the States yet again. Kim is in the house. Say I've got a low battery here, guys, but I've got it plugged in. Let me just make sure that's definitely plugged in. Fingers crossed, because we've had, Laura's here, we've had battery issues before on previous scopes, as you remember, and it all it all went horrendously wrong. But the USB cable is definitely plugged in. Good evening, Kim. Hey Ross, hope you're well. Evening, everybody, says Archie. I hope everyone's well as well. It's Friday night, guys. Again, Kim, I am sure I've got the USB cable plugged in. Again, we are here on a Friday night. We're very rock and roll. We clearly live the rock star lifestyle that we all aspire to, because we're in our house on a Friday night, 10 p.m. Laura's here. Yeah, Meredith's here. I know Nina can't make it tonight or for a couple of nights. Don't know about Tracy. We've got Rachel Ward, RCHL Ward, abbreviation Rachel Ward, maybe. Don't know. Richard Ward. God knows. Hitesh, how we doing, my man? Hitesh is in the house. We're just going to give people a few minutes of joy. We can't go out and miss you. I know, it's becoming a little habit, isn't it, guys? This is night 19 or 20. It might even be night 20. Can't remember. I think it could be night 20 on the trot, which is crazy. But this is we're creating a lovely little community of people here. And for those who are joining for the first time, guys, my name is Ross. I'm an actor and a voiceover artist from Manchester here in the UK. Like Kim says, we're all proper rock and roll on the on these scopes. I'm doing 30 scopes every night, one a night for 30 days. We're on about day 20, all to do with mindset, positivity, motivation, coaching people in their lives, careers, just basically how to get stuff done. And how to kind of deal with everything that life throws at us. There's a lot of actors going to be on these scopes, so a lot of the stuff that I say relates to that and the acting industry, but an awful lot of what I talk about as well relates to every single job on the planet, every single person, you know, whether you're male, female, whether you're a builder, plumber, decorator, a Formula 1 driver, astronaut, actor, doesn't matter. All of this stuff kind of counts. So guys, yeah, if you like what I'm saying, the usual, hit it up with hearts. It always makes me feel good that people are at least listening. If you've got any questions or anything like that, then ask them anytime you want, and obviously we'll do a little recap at the end as well. Tonight, it's a little bit different, okay? I've not got any slides or any kind of lesson stuff to kind of give out, as usual. What I have got is a brand new book. You'll see behind me, I read a lot of books. Obviously, an awful lot of what I kind of coach on these scopes is what I've kind of learned over the years through reading hundreds of books on mindset and psychology and stuff. Hitesh says, how was your day? Day was good, Hitesh. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in relation to this book as well. Be meaning to ask you, who's your bobblehead behind you? This is a bobblehead that my brother bought me. It's supposed to be me. He bought it me for Christmas about 3 years ago. No, probably longer than that, 5 years ago. What do you reckon? I think I've changed my haircut since a little bit, grown a little bit older. What is essentialism? Samir, awesome question. Let's get back on topic, yeah, rather than looking at bobbleheads. So, I'm massive on having my own mentors as well, guys. Something that I see throughout, you know, every single successful kind of corporation or person or, you know, business, anything like that. Doesn't matter whether you're first starting off or the guys at the top. Everybody, you know, the most successful people all have mentors, okay? So, you know, it's humbling. Maybe I can be a bit of a mentor for you guys, but I have mentors in a few areas of my life. So business, you know, physicality in terms of, you know, kind of working out and, you know, nutrition and stuff. One of my mentors who I was speaking to yesterday, I was talking to him and I was saying, look, you know, I feel like I'm always striving, you know, to do as much as I can, but sometimes I feel like I'm taking a little bit too much on, I guess, you know, at any one time. And sometimes, although I'm really big and I'm quite efficient on goal setting, and I know what I want to do and I know how I'm going to get there, sometimes I don't know which thing to choose first, because for those who know me, you know, you'll know I run a few websites. So I run a website for actors called actonthis.tv here in the UK. That keeps me busy kind of doing podcasts and broadcasts and interviewing, you know, people from the acting industry. I also am a voiceover artist, so I run a voiceover training company as well. Please slowly, says Hassan. I'll go slow, I do speak quite fast. So I run a voiceover training company, yes, so that takes up a lot of my time. I have my own acting career, I have my own voiceover career, I have a mindset course that I'm bringing out later this month, which I'm putting a lot of time into, called Bulletproof Actor. If you want to get on the list to get invited to that, if you like the sort of things we're talking about on the scopes, go to bulletproofactor.com and leave your email address. So I have all these things going on, and I love them all, you know, pretty much equally, but I sometimes really struggle to go, what am I actually going to work on first, you know, and how am I going to use my time best, and, you know, and what do I need to kind of say no to today in order to get the most out of, you know, the day and be productive. So one of my mentors, Mark, said, mate, you need to buy a book called Essentialism. It's by a guy called Greg McKeown, your battery's dying, Samir. You're going to try and sign back in when you get a charger. Don't worry, because this is recorded anyway, so you'll be able to catch this up later. And I ordered the book yesterday. I ordered Greg McKeown. Greg McKeown. There you go, there's his name. That's in focus. And I ordered it on Amazon yesterday. It says on the back it's like $12.99. I think I got it for about £8 though. About £8 here in the UK. It'll be a different price obviously if you're in the States. And I read the first chapter before, and instantly I was like, wow, I have to read it, these guys on the scope tonight, because this is stuff that I think we all can use, and I think you probably all relate to as well. Give me a yes if you feel that a lot of the time you're being busy but you're not necessarily being productive. Or say for instance you might be one of those people who I am, is quite a people pleaser, who finds it hard to say no to people. So Tesh says yep. You know, you might have amen, says Samir. My mum jokes that I try to fit 100 hours into 24 hours a day. Yes, says Girly Whirly, good to see you tonight. Who else we got? Meredith, yes. Need to prioritize better. Exactly, this is exactly what Essentialism will help you do. So I'm the sort of guy who will go, right, I'm going to set out, you know, tomorrow, where I'm going to spend the whole day working on something, and then I'll get a text of someone I've not seen in a while going, oh, we should get dinner. And really in my mind I'm like, oh man, you know, like, I know I'm not seeing you in a while and I would love to, but I've got so many things on. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to say that to people. My fingers take over and go, yeah, that's absolutely fine, see you at 1 o'clock. And then I go, why am I doing this? We've said before on a scope earlier this week that we say yes to too many people, and that means saying no to ourselves. Got up an hour early today and still didn't finish the to-dos. That's me too, says Kim. So yeah, I get that quite a lot, and we said, yeah, you know, don't say yes to something else if it means saying no to yourself. And this is something as well, I've read autobiographies, and you know, I've studied with some of the greatest minds in the world on this sort of stuff, and one thing that separates the successful people from the super successful people that I've experienced is that they say no, honestly, to practically everything. Okay, because they know that when they say yes to something, they're having to say no to something else. So this is kind of what Essentialism is on. It's a book. I'll read you the back of the book. It says, have you ever found yourself stretched too thin at home or at work? Have you ever felt both overworked and underutilized? Do you ever feel busy but not productive? Do you ever feel like you're constantly in motion but never getting anywhere? If you answered yes to any of these, the way out is becoming an essentialist. And this is what I aim to read and implement in my life over the next week or so. Chris Stone Films is here. Chris Stone, I think you could deal with this, mate, as well. You could definitely utilize a bit of essentialism in your life. So what I want to do, guys, if you don't mind, I think what would be cool for you is I want to read you the first chapter. It's only 4.5 or 5 pages long. It'll probably take me about 8 or 9 minutes. But I think it'd be really useful for you to kind of get a grip on this. And then if I don't know, maybe what we should do is you could go and get the book. I'm not remotely affiliated with Greg. I don't know him, but we could get the book, and then we could do a little like Periscope book club where we're all kind of reading the same book together, and we can all chip in and kind of put our opinions across of what we're finding from it. And Archie's getting the kettle on. So yeah, so basically settle down for a few minutes. You can put the phone down, or you can put your iPad down or whatever. You don't need to watch me. I'm just going to be reading. I'm not going to be doing anything special. Read it as Alan Partridge. Chris, I'm not reading it as Alan Partridge. This is a massively serious topic. I'm trying to change people's lives, Chris. It's not funny. It's demented. So yeah, no Partridge, but yeah, let me read you this. This applies to kind of business in this book. It kind of uses a lot of business analogy, but I'm sure you'll get it, and you'll apply that to your life as well. Oh my God, that's amazing, says Laura. Bit of Partridge. Don't get me started. I'll do it all night long. So if you want to gather round, kids, get a cocoa. So I've got a coffee here again. I've fallen off the wagon. I was on fruit teas last night. Smack bang full on caffeine tonight. But I'm going to read you this, chapter 1. Okay, Stephen Dempster's here. Stephen, you are just in time, son, to hear chapter 1 of The Essentialist. We'll talk a little bit. I'll do a little bit of a recap afterwards, so you can catch up on what we've been doing. So it says, chapter 1, The Essentialist. The wisdom of life consists in the elimination of non-essentials. So it says, Sam Elliott is a capable executive in Silicon Valley, California, who found himself stretched too thin after his company was acquired by a larger bureaucratic business. He was in earnest about being a good citizen in his new role, so he said yes to so many requests without really thinking about it. But as a result, he would spend the whole day rushing from one meeting and conference call to another, trying to please everyone and get it all done. His stress went up as the quality of his work went down. It was like he was majoring in minor activities, and as a result, his work became unsatisfying for him and frustrating for people he was trying so hard to please. Are you with me so far? Because I felt so much like this before. I'm sure you guys have too. In the midst of his frustration, the company came to him and offered him an early retirement package, but he was in his early 50s and had no interest in completely retiring. He thought briefly about starting a consulting company, doing what he was already doing. He even thought of selling his services back to his employer as a consultant, but none of these options seemed that appealing. So he went to speak with a mentor, see, everyone's got mentors, who gave him surprising advice. Stay, but do what you would do as a consultant and nothing else. Don't tell anyone. So in other words, his mentor was advising him to do only the things that he deemed essential and ignore everything else that he was asked to do. The executive followed the advice. He made a daily commitment towards cutting out the red tape. He began saying no. He was tentative at first. He would evaluate requests based on the timid criteria. Can I actually fulfill this request given the time and resources I have? If the answer was no, then he would refuse the request. He was pleasantly surprised to find that while people would at first look a little disappointed, they seemed to respect his honesty. Encouraged by his small wins, he pushed back a bit more. Now, when a request would come in, he would pause and evaluate the request again against tougher criteria. Is this the very most important thing I should be doing with my time and resources right now? If he couldn't answer a definitive yes, then he would refuse the request. And once again, to his delight, whilst his colleagues might initially seem disappointed, they soon began to respect him more for his refusal, not less. So people will respect you more if you start saying no and you're not just, the yes man. Emboldened, he began to apply this selective criteria to everything, not just direct requests. In his past life, he would always volunteer for presentations or assignments that came up last minute. Now he found a way not to sign up for them. He used to be one of the first to jump in on an email trail, but now he just stepped back and let others jump in. He stopped attending conference calls that he only thought he had a couple of minutes of interest in. He stopped sitting in on the weekly update call because he didn't need the information. He stopped attending meetings on his calendar if he didn't have a direct contribution to make. He explained to me, just because I was invited didn't seem a good enough reason to attend. So you might get invited to loads of stuff, but just because you're invited, you don't have to say yes. It felt self-indulgent at first, but by being selective, he bought himself space, and in that space, he found creative freedom. He could concentrate his efforts on one project at a time, he could plan thoroughly, he could anticipate roadblocks and start to remove obstacles. Instead of spinning his wheels trying to get everything done, he could get the right things done. His newfound commitment to doing only the things that were truly important and eliminating everything else restored the quality of his work. Instead of making just a millimetre of progress in a million distractions, it began to generate tremendous momentum towards accomplishing the things that were truly vital. He continued this for several months. He immediately found that he not only got more of his day back at work, in the evenings he got even more time back at home. He said, I got my family life back. I can go home at a decent time. Now, instead of being a slave to his phone, he shuts it down. He goes to the gym, he goes out to eat with his wife. To his great surprise, there were no negative repercussions to his experiment. His manager didn't chastise him, his colleagues didn't resent him, quite the opposite. Because he was left only with projects that were meaningful to him and actually valuable to the company, they began to respect and value his work more than ever. His work became fulfilling again. His performance ratings went up. He ended up with one of the largest bonuses of his career. In this example, it says, in this example is the basic value proposition of essentialism. Only once you give yourself permission to stop trying to do it all, to stop saying yes to everyone, can you make your highest contribution towards the things that really matter. So what about you? How many times have you reacted to a request by saying yes without really thinking about it? And think about that today, maybe you've done that today. How many times have you resented committing to do something and wondered, why did I ever sign up for this? How often do you say yes simply to please or to avoid trouble, or because yes has just become your default response? Now let me ask you this, have you ever found yourself stretched too thin? Have you ever felt both overworked and underutilized? Have you ever felt yourself majoring in minor activities? Do you ever feel busy but not productive, like you're always in motion but never getting anywhere? If you answered yes to any of these, the way out of this is to become the essentialist. So it says the way of the essentialist. Dieter Rams was the lead designer at Braun for many years. He's driven by the idea that almost everything is noise. He believes very few things are essential. His job is to filter through that noise until he gets to the essence. For example, as a young 24-year-old at the company, he was asked to collaborate on a record player. The norm at that time was to cover the turntable in a solid wooden lid, or even to incorporate the player into a piece of living room furniture. I don't know if you remember when you were a kid and your parents had something like that. Ridiculous. Right, instead of doing that, he and his team removed the clutter and designed a player with a clear plastic cover on the top and nothing more. It was the first time such a design had been used, and it was so revolutionary, people worried it might bankrupt the company because no one would buy it. It took courage, as it always does, to eliminate the non-essential. But by the 60s, this aesthetic started to gain traction. In time, it became the design every other record player followed. Dieter's design criteria can be summarized by a characteristically succinct principle, captured in just 3 German words. Did German A-level. Weniger, aber besser. Now that means the English translation for that is less but better. And there's no more fitting description of essentialism than that. The way of the essentialist is the relentless pursuit of less but better. It doesn't mean occasionally giving a nod to the principle, it means pursuing it in a disciplined way. The way of the essentialist isn't about setting New Year's resolutions to say no more, or about pruning your inbox, or about mastering some new strategy in time management. It's about pausing constantly to ask, am I investing in the right activities? There are far more activities and opportunities in the world than we have time and resources to invest in. And although many of them may be good or even very good, the fact is that most are trivial and very few are vital. The way of the essentialist involves learning to tell the difference, learning to filter through all those options and selecting only those that are truly essential. Essentialism is not about how to get more things done, it's about how to get the right things done. It doesn't mean just doing less for the sake of less either. It's about making the wisest possible investment of your time and energy in order to operate at your highest point of contribution by doing only what is essential. And that's chapter 1, guys. That's it. It resonated massively with me before when I read it. If you can relate to that, give me some hearts. Heart it up. Give me some yeses. It's so like what I do, you know, a lot. I really do. I'm really good at knowing what I want and how I'm going to get there. But the noise that kind of comes into my world from other people, and they live happily ever after. They didn't, Chris. There's a whole book. Archie's just ordered the book. Good. Do it. Well, what I think we should do, guys, honestly, I'm probably gonna read a lot of this over the weekend as well. Wise words. This is always me. We should all get this book. I will put a link to the Amazon page. Obviously, you can just search on Amazon for Essentialism, and the book will come up. I say it's about £9. It's awesome. The reviews of this I've seen are awesome. Oriana Huffington, she owns the Huffington Post, has put on the front an essential read for anyone who wants to regain control of their health, well-being and happiness. It's something that I really want to implement into my life. Better than the third Harry Potter. I've downloaded it already, says Steve. I should be getting commission. I'm going to get in touch with Greg and go, Greg, you know, give me some books here, pal. Literally books. But yeah, I just think that it's something that I, and probably everyone on this scope, and anybody who's got a bit of a higher vision for their life, you know, and has these really important and vital things to do with their, you know, with their life and to make that impact. I think that we all just get distracted by the noise, and we need to drown out that noise more so we can actually start saying no and not feeling guilty about it. You know, we can say no, because what we're doing is when we're saying no to the request. We're not saying no to the person. You know, we're just saying, unfortunately, right now. So, for instance, Shelley, who normally comes on these scopes, Shelley asked me if I would do some coaching of her students. She runs she's a tutor at a drama school. And I was like, right, I would love to do that. Absolutely love to do that. Old Ross, or, you know, kind of recent Ross, would probably go, all right, okay, yeah, let's do it. And you know, and my stuff might suffer because of that, in terms of I go, right, I'm gonna have to book out some time to do this presentation, write this presentation up, get it ready. You know, I've got to deliver something great. So I'm going to put off my other things that are on my essential list today, as in Bulletproof Actor, the mindset course I want to bring out for everybody. But I had to send Shelley an email today saying I would love to do this, but this year is probably unlikely. You know, I'd love to do this in the new year for your students, you know, in January. Let's get everybody pumped up for 2016. And I'm sure she's not going to kick off and go, oh, Ross, you're a terrible person because you've said no. You know, people will respect your time a bit more and just, you know, and won't expect you to say yes. In my life, who's done this in the past? Who's always said yes to certain people, and then they've ended up kind of losing respect from them, and they just feel that they can ring you up and just go, oh, don't worry about that, Ross will do that, I know he will. Because I've found that in my life quite a lot, and it was only when I started saying no to those same people that they would actually start asking a bit more nicely, you know, and kind of like you know, being a little bit more tactful around me and praising me a bit more, as opposed to previously when every time they asked for something I just said yeah, they were like, all right, yeah, fine, no thanks. You know, it was just taken for granted that that's what I would do. So if you like that, guys, yeah, get the book. I'm going to read it, and let's kind of hook up and talk about it. I was talking about Blab, the other social network, Blab, which is like Periscope. We can have up to 3 people join me live on video. So maybe if we did some separate sessions, we could all come on and talk about the book. You know, we could do that separately. I think that would be pretty cool, and we can, you know, tell each other kind of what we're getting from it and how it's helped, and we do that regularly. God, I've got so many books here, guys, that have changed my life that I just think you guys should read. Definitely. There's a new book coming out in October. My mate Lewis sent me a copy of like a preview copy of his book, Lewis Howes, called The School of Greatness. That's coming out on October the 27th. That's the next book in my pile. I've kind of almost read it, to be honest. I'm going to do a review of this soon as well. But that'll be one you want to get at the end of this month. You can pre-order that on Amazon as well. But yeah, let's do a little bit of a book club. If you're up for it, give me some text, type in book club or something. If you like it, give us some hearts. Chris Stone, are you up for the book club or what? Are you still on the scope? I get so hot, I keep noticing my cheeks going already. So I've got 3 floodlights on here. We need to start a book forum, and that's on this. Yes, Archie, you do it. You should do it. Google Hangouts may be an option for group discussions as well. Yeah, Google Hangouts. Ross Grant Gold. Where is Bulletproof going? When is it going to be out? Okay, Kim. Bulletproof Actor, Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success is the name of my mindset course. It's going to be out, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the end of this month. I'd initially wanted it out for October, but that was when my vision of it wasn't quite as big. As I've asked people in the community to get involved and tell me what they want from the course, I've added like 2 big modules to it that I wasn't initially going to do, so it's taken a bit longer than normal. But I promise you, if you bear with me, I'll still scope for people, you know, we still get involved this way, but if you bear with us and hang on in there, this product will change your life, I promise you. If it doesn't, I will give you your money back. It literally is as simple as that, no quibble guarantee. If you don't think you have had 10 times the value than what you spent on it, I will give you your money back. So yeah, so that's it. So let's do this book club thing, guys. Get yourself over to Amazon, search for Essentialism, Greg McKeown, let's read it and let's see what we can drop from our lives in order to stay super focused on only the vital, essential tasks and just start getting shit done. Shouldn't swear, but it's after the watershed. Yeah, I love it, definitely. I am well up for that. So I'm going to read a little bit more. Don't know whether we'll talk about it on tomorrow night's scope because none of you guys are going to have time to get it in time. But we'll definitely talk about it next week. Not a complaint, just totally excited for it. I'm totally excited for it, Kim. I wish I could show you some stuff now. I can't talk. QPR, says Chris. You think he means OQP, one of my phrases? Only quality people, OQP. It's another thing you should live by. But yeah, I'm super excited for Bulletproof Actor, like so excited, it's ridiculous. I'm going to start printing off the units and making physical copies of it, because I'm going to be using those when I'm filming the videos. I'm going to be able to share those with you guys soon and show you some little sneak peeks of the stuff that's in there. I can't do too much of it on these scopes because it's giving it away. There's some awesome exercises though that are life changing, I promise you. I've done, you know, I've tested with other people, and I've been through them recently with other people that have really made them think of the things that they're doing in their lives, really made them reassess, reframe, you know, get a new mindset and start going out there and actually, you know, getting what they want. Super, super powerful stuff. So I will catch you guys again 10 o'clock tomorrow. Time is it? 26 minutes past. Yeah, we're coming up to time. So I'll catch you 10 o'clock tomorrow, and we might not be talking about essentialism. Maybe I'll share a few things that I've read about it. But if you've got a topic suggestion, tweet me. It's at Ross A. Grant. Or if you're not part of the Bulletproof Actor community on Facebook, go to facebook.com/groups/Bulletproof Actor and join. You know, join the group. Request to join, and I will add you. But you can absolutely tweet me at Ross A. Grant. And if you want to watch any of the previous Periscopes, go to actonthis.tv, click on Periscope in the menu, and you can watch all of the replays from the last 19 days. I think this is day 20. You've got 10 days left where we're doing it every day. After that, I'll still continue to scope for sure, because I love it. So I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Thanks so much for spending your Friday night with me. I really do appreciate you spending the time. I think we're building a great little community here. I think the book club idea is great, and it's going to kind of really, really help us, you know, get further faster together. And I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Until then, hard it up. Bye for now.